Zero, League of Legends champions.
Welcome to day one of week 3, which means that it's where the gratuities included in your Achilles. With me is Monte Cristo.
See, I used
to
be
not in Korea. You don't have to tip
a bartender when I was in college. It's very if you're in America.
If you're in America. If you're anywhere else. But we have a really good game. Team formerly known as the ROX Tigers. Now
as the ROX Tigers, because they still have ROX in there. They have called the Tigers instead of just it's not an actual sponsor. So if they have to add us name like the Tigers, we can call them instead.
Fair enough. T1, who have been going for these guys to the summer split, and ROX their match score, but only a +1. It's been looking pretty rough for these guys.
It's slow, and they did lose that game to all them play versus Ever. It was actually quite convincing with Kuro and Bengi, which was going to be a bit of a question, obviously, in interviews. I'm here to tell you it's not okay.
I'm sure he's checking all the time in interviews, so you can't take that. Really, the global standings really quickly, though, to EU or NA. So in that top spot, much like we kind of expected them, they did have a little bit of a run for their money against C9.
Teams in North America, besides some more in the LPL EDG, Royal on top in Group B. I don't think there are really any surprises there, except for maybe new.
This hasn't started yet, guys. That'll kick off this. Those teams are going to shake up whether or not Flash Wolves can stay on top. Tied for first place between Lyra, Faker.
Well, only a couple MVPs for each. Duke. We're going to see a lot of SKT on top of the game, but Duke has been way up there in KDA. Bay underneath him.
It's coming in just a little bit behind him there. A bit more from these guys, and we will tomorrow. We'll see how they stack up against each other, but damage in the mid lane has, I believe, still the highest.
Yes, he does.
The league.
He's over.
Yeah, he's been doing.
I don't know the exact figure off the top of my head, but it's
Violet yet again showing up for Jinair Green Wing. There of a 17.5. Bang started off a bit since the start. Jay is this top side. Something maybe we spot after the end of last split. So it's good standings right here. Samsung still on.
Yeah, and these are 3 undefeated SKT and Samsung. Catch up a little bit in terms of matches played right after MSI. We didn't have. Here they are now in a rematch against the ROX Tigers. In the regular season, ROX won both. They won 2-1, and then the second round robin 2-0. They won to switch to a league format that opponent in both round robins. So that ROX was the favorite, really. SKTelecom showed up big once again.
Yeah, that they did. A big question coming into this. Kuro as well in there. Not that still the big question mark for him. But with Bengi coming back to us, a team that is considerably weaker than at the beginning of this split, why do you think SK up against this team that has caused them so many problems?
Definitely the switch to the Elise Rek'Sai meta is off the bat, so that is not going to be shocking. We'll talk once we get into the game, and after that, so will be Azir and Nid. Very powerful picks here. Respective teams. Maokai not going to be allowed in. There's the up against the ROX Tigers. Faker. Oh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, insert champ.
For Xerath.
Except for Xerath. We one off the list, I suppose. Rise, of course, going to be side of the Tigers, and then the last one, we'll see what they want to ban away. It's a double jungle ban here.
And big priority shift. So, as we know, in an extremely potent pick of absolutely dominating some of these late game teams, and it looks like it'll be Smeb on that, Vlad, in the top lane.
Yeah. All right. The hovers coming through. It's going to be the Rek'Sai and Echo, the trifecta with the Rise on was able to do just earlier this morning. Just knowing better than to give away those 3 champions, but they Swain for themselves. This is going to be very heavy.
Yeah, with the Azir ban too, it is worth noting they have played Azir Ezreal. We actually get to see something different from SKT they had in their last series either. Looking interesting, and for the Ghost not so convincingly be that Swain.
Yep.
So we're going to have to wait and see for Faker, the champion that he plays. And then we're going to have the Nami. He continues to play a lot of Nami.
I think the last time that we saw Faker play in Nivea, 1v1 Froggen.
I'll look at that Sivir right now. May not go with the from SKTelecom with both the Anivia. Very good at kiting, but it's going to be problematic. But the zone with the Anivia ultimate and kind of like a tidal wave or a wall engage behind, or if they get flanked, they do take the Ashe. This is a pick that SKT, of course, a ROX special right now. We know.
Anivia, I want to see how this one's going to play out. Now they actually have it flipped so that Anivia's coming through, but we actually saw an Anivia, and it was into a ROX. Team Liquid versus TSM. And I gotta say,
I mean, I do like Anivia into ROX because of the kiting potential, the fact that you can wall to lay down the damage. Will be stuck with Ignite. Useful, obviously, to reduce the healing. Is going to give him a lot less presence on the map. He's slow when it comes to pressure or dives.
Yeah. And
Kuro will get into some of these hits level 6 and can really start hitting some Achilleos, Vlad, and if you're SKT.
But I'm guessing that there will be a
rhetorical question.
Yeah. For Bang. Faker going to try possibly again, but we'll see if he's able to do it as we get KT. All right, here we go. Straight on to Drake. First one, sticking its head out. ROX and SKT looking like they're going to...
Yeah, Peanut actually going back to the great instead of the Elise, generally speaking. He's a champion we typically would associate here with much of a chance, and not characters too much in the intro. We should down right now because both of these teams average game times in the league. They're number one in Telecom at 34.5 minutes, ROX at 30 between the two of these. So is that ROX generally has a very strong gold at 15 minutes typically, but that doesn't. Well, SKT has a slower gold. 2% of their dragons over 4 don't have that same gold lead at 15 minutes. Shorter in shorter games, and they do kind of the theme that we've seen amongst the best teams.
That's a good stat to have when the be seeing in this game. Follow that up with some Inferno necessary to close out the games shorter. But big question marks right now when they've corrected a lot of these mistakes that they've been split. I mean, swapping out Koro and Cry has been something back and forth as we see this little scuffle on the bottom side.
Yeah, exhaust from Wolf.
Yeah, exhaust is still up there. So down for the Nami though, it's pretty
challenging to deal with. And one, if we look at SKTelecom's composition, yeah, Convergence, Glacial Storm, these are drawn in to crowd control. Sivir dealing a lot with those ricochet. But the problem is that if they ever need to engage, Faker's going to have to hit that slow move, or they're going to have to try and land a block.
Yeah,
so
just delete that.
Sivir ultimate, but they still have to have somebody who can actually see a wall. Regardless, it's going to be difficult to initiate any kind of team fights. Flash arrow and a ghost onto and uses.
We've seen a good other regions. I mean, even just today, Sneaky was actually playing against Echo Fox. I didn't get to watch the point.
It's been pretty. The Ashes. It depends on which team plays it, right? They like to have their initiate engage tank like Maokai. So many different champions. Sometimes it's just best carry instead if you can get away with it. One of the best, very, very best Ashe players.
See that? I mean, you can see that win rate right there on the screen. It's
Ashe.
That speaks pretty strong, pretty highly of.
Yeah, it's been in their match last week against Ever. We've seen that trend. 16-2. Pretty damn good, I would say.
Well, we'll see if he can to 3 for the loss ratio. Steady as she goes here. Pops coming out, so not going to see those early tower takes. Farming phase, it seems, for the time being.
The last time he was playing this Swain, itemization was pretty suspect, which allowed him he would have liked. So we'll keep an eye on Rod of Ages first, of course, but after here, of course, from the AP that Faker, we'll see if he decides to itemize more armor to deal with. Faker going for tier. We'll see if he goes tier Rod, or whether he's going to build something else on this initiative.
The Rod of Ages with the tier spin, remember, we can see, of course, Smeb's going to be picking complete the Catalyst of Aeons.
There's
so many Aeons.
Want Aeons. If you know anything about Gnostic,
he's going to have a plethora of them. Duke with this Dark Seal starting. Smeb's just going to be a little bit of...
Yeah, that actually is a problem right now, that he can't have... See Faker with that Emax doing quite a bit of...
This is Vladimir. We'll start falling behind a little. Bengi, though, sees Peanut, says, you know what, let's just go in. They're just going to jump right on top of him and find first blood. The line into the wall in time, and that's just going to be...
Wow, that was really bold by Bengi, actually. Knowing that even though Peanut was right there, burst in order to take that out, he will go ahead. Not that it's particularly useful. Maybe they would have given that to Smeb in any case, but they're allowed to put down even more pressure. Man, doing some work already in this.
Things off so far.
Build that he did in Game 1. Game 1 of SKTelecom's last match. Smite, like you said, into the Sight Stone.
Now taking away that Gromp with the Smite, collapsing that tunnel.
Poor Peanut. Wards in because of that Sight Stone too. So, and ROX thought, well, the Sight Stone build, why not just play? Have the much more effective jungler ROX is looking for here. One dive onto thinking about them having a Vlad and a Swain going to be extraordinarily powerful. Not be, but that trio actually find kills.
You know, a really precarious spot when it comes to Azir, Maokai, and Ryze on the side of Tiger, but then this just allows one of those his hands on to come through the draft. So it's either he gets so many other picks with Azir in the mid lane for Faker.
Well, that's all this to ban out his champions because of whatever Faker's champion rule. Like, you can't give. The team has made that mistake so far. They know what they're going to do. They're going to play Faker Ezreal. So I like the fact that they're going to go. Faker had the chance to Swain. He knew that one of them was going to be in the mid lane. That was his solution because Vlad is not going to be putting that much.
Far by SKTelecom. Not going to see much. Already a 1.2 thousand gold lead start. We'll see just when they want to go down for that. Maybe get a gank down there for Bengi. Not get a kill. And then they can reach your global objective.
Game though, both teams waiting through on a variety of items. Up at least for the moment. More diligent and able to get those early. A slight CS advantage in the mid lane.
Damage coming out there from that TP in the bot side though, going to be joined. Looks like he's just going to be up in the front side. Duke lane get this stun, and it looks like this Swain as Wolf finds the kill, and here comes Bang. He smites him out to get the slow, but he's going to get stoned up by the. Might just back off. Bang's a little bit too low.
Dodging from prey there on some of those skill shots.
Yep. Going underneath the tower, he's going to take down. Arriving a little bit too late. Will get. They're not going to be able to pick up much else. Yeah,
that TP in that particular instance, point in time.
Yeah.
The ultimate and summoners had already been pretty much of a chance of turning around that fight himself to the bottom lane. That's not going to do them a whole lot of favors. 4 kills, so didn't actually go on to press that angle. Still a bit.
To pull the trigger on a lot of most part ahead. Had they not lost that instance, or if they had not taken as much damage, transferred over into this first dragon take standing. But like you said, Smeb the teleport. And Duke pulled the trigger faster, so Smeb looking like
well, I don't engagement or why Prey and Gorilla were so far at the ultimate up, and we never got to see if they initiated that and then got it turned around, which really shouldn't happen because sport. But in any case so far, and to SKT's credit, building Rod of Ages, you're trying to scale up. Well, instead, we're going to buy an advantage in that top lane. It's going to bottom side now, so we can get them an advantage too. So because bottom was getting shoved in, was P play catching him out, and then helping them to
see Griff Herald will make his one-time Duke with the buff. A Dark Seal. You can see Faker. It's just doing so Goro. Of course, he can keep up because he is really making him suffer as far as the CS lead already here for Faker. Just 13 minutes.
We knew the Vlad was going to be an option. We started in Korea late last week. And turns, but people all wow, Faker stole that with his ult. Oh, yeah,
just Faker things.
Just pop minions there with the Glacial Storm. Tops
looking to replicate it.
Oh, Bengi stole it with his smite.
Just gonna ride that happy
was
waves.
It one Achilles.
Well, they're gonna be able to finish off Miles on to Bang, and it looks like they're gonna be able to take him out. Peanut Flash finalize the kill. Bengi tunneling his way Gage, so SKT pick up a red buff, a drag.
The best ultimate there from Prey either. His ultimate, and now we see some proxy from Smeb back into that top lane. He pretty darn quickly with the help of
follow up on the mountain, so pretty good. We see how this just
a lot of this spell shield fast enough. Oh, the arrow wasn't at first, but
it looked like it shouldn't have.
Not have. They did have to waiting for the spell shield to be gone, and it's normal due to some other missed skill shots right Gorilla.
The pit there. Blue buff, but all will retain this about 2,000. A big majority of that going to be made up from who both have 20 plus CS. A little bit behind though, so that's.
This is still a very winnable game. Their lane assignments are going to be because are they going to risk going into a 1-3-1? Probably be ideal for the ROX Tigers, just because they'll back to a Dragon or Baron and then very much engaged to engage them. But especially with the Sivir ult on the team, and you can't get back, even with that go team, still more of a risk. Wondering if ROX is going to take it or not. Do it here.
Here comes Bengi. Welcome. Drop into that.
He got excited.
Vladimir. Correct.
We'll go down first.
Got a
summoners. Then you're okay.
Yeah. Okay, TP coming in here from Duke. It's going to be on the top Fisher, but they're just piling straight onto Gorilla as best way, so it's going to be a flash for a TP.
That was an series of events there by Gorilla. He hit the TP'd in, hit the even he dashed in, he or TP'd in, so also, and then was able to just so nice escape. But SKTelecom goes down. Same thing in the top side though. He will grab the solo gold from that to help.
Lateral damage not really going to come through, and Duke is still going to keep up in the top side, trying to get as many slows. 30% HP. Bengi the Prayseeker not going to. If they want to dive this one, looks like they might just say hell yeah. Going to snap back with the ultimate. They pick up. What the hell? Bryce is going to walk up to death.
Wow, Prey didn't even use exactly Bang was doing. He also didn't use the replay of that one because that was a team at first blush from Bang.
Situation.
So let's take a look at what. Oh no!
Oh.
The ult. Walt.
Let it be known, folks. Don't recall there. Gets taken out. 3 members piling on. The tidal wave. Good amount of sustain as Pino's getting ready to join in. Almost. He's now out of mana, but so is off. So they get the turret, but not gonna.
Okay, well,
right.
That's the state of this game. Back and forth. Actually, that was not sloppy. Like good, and they were just trying to dive him right. It's sort of the state of.
Yeah, those nerfs need to come through another notch.
Oh, it was very sloppy though. That was
that shit is 5 yards away. Embrace its.
Okay, well now they all decided that now is the time. Prey has had that begun it previously, but let's see SKT try and hit. Wolf just a little off. Juke out of it.
This is important pressure for SKT. Send him back to base because that Infernal Drake just spawned. Gorilla taking a ton of damage. But opening here. Dragon, Duke on the backside. Will do so successfully, and Smeb goes back.
Wow. Okay, well, that was whether or not they were going to do that because could have pushed down to tier 2, and Vladimir.
Arrow comes out, catches Bang. Can't answer out with that flash freeze.
Now to try and maybe a sacrificial turret chunked out. Burrow now here too.
New wave here, that should be the turret going down. Actually, still there from Smeb and Vladimir, both of which, so not going to be able to. It's just one more shared push, and they are able to take that down.
It's Ashes there to harass Bengi. Gorilla left there alone, though, with
Faker is just laying on the damage.
Whoops.
Trying to get that one more hit in. It's not just screw it. There we go. Duke parallel convergence, but another turn. Very good use of that mountain.
Colonel Drake, too. So SKTelecom, we cited that 4 games, they've taken 82% them in this game so far. ROX start falling behind in that will be a force in the late game. We've already seen that has some extra Abyssal Scepter. And on the side of SKTelecom, building Immortal Reminder on Sivir at this one. 4th item. That'll be just allowing that to proc.
See those? Speaking of great start, as you mentioned, Rod of Ages and already has the Seraphs embrace 3 minutes those came through.
Yeah, so his build hasn't really changed.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it makes sense why it wouldn't change for some of the durations on her crowd control. Now, she just has a little bit more, which is obviously fantastic against this team. Needs to pretty much just run at you. It's easy to hit that CC and kite them out.
Easy that blue buff gets taken. Actually, Bengi has. This is 6.10, so Nivea not going to be just yet. So that'll be in 6.11. Terrible, but even then, it's not that big of a change.
Gotta be careful.
Oh yeah, Flash bangs it on the by the arrow. Just piling on the Faker in the back. Whittled down, has the egg, but they should be able to. Their Smeb will fall. Faker almost going down, and Duke goes into the backside, and he's going to take down Prey. 3 members of ROX on the run. Running up could be cut off by Duke. I think. Well,
it is best to dodge around right. Are going to have to ignore Peanut because it is a waste moment. We're going to keep trying, though.
He's just going to quick draw over the wall. Rainblade takes a little bit off of it. It's going to take as much as I can.
Take shotgun to the face.
Kuro's coming in. The bubble doesn't get third. Showing smite. There we go. But they will kill him in the end. Gold than he was worth.
Yeah, let's take a look at this fight again. Just managed to land the arrow, but on Bengi, which isn't a priority Faker in this backline, but actually a really poor play only hit Faker, and all of the Faker and Wolf only.
Yeah.
Position, you're going to be using the bird. You kind of want to hit more than one person with it. It's way too hard on killing Faker. Bang basically freed composition does in team fights, which is.
But that's like the catch-22 when you're playing almost and arguably the most. Okay, we need to take out Faker so we can do this, but everyone still make up for it in the fight. Even that's been the crutch of a lot of teams. KT match is they just solo out and.
Even at the end of that fight, though, Peanut killed him before he could revive, and the Vlad on top of the Anivia. Now,
how do I come out? But Gorilla blocks that, but it's not going to catch anybody really high priority. Pressure that Duke is laying down. Chase still coming through this barrel. Out of Kuro as he is in that Sanguine Pool. Has that ultimate available. Looks like the lack of TP comes in from Smeb. He gets popped up. He is down. Looks like it only found Bengi so far. He's not going to go down. Meanwhile, Bang finishes off.
And are ridiculously brutal. But Faker plays one side of the turret and then Glacial Storm there after TPing in.
Into a bubble immediately as well.
Yeah, and starting that engagement be up that entire time. But it was another Mountain Drake going over to SKT. Regular Anivia? Well, trying
as they get in underneath of the turret.
Wolf and Faker to trap him underneath that. The amount of damage he can do and the sustain that he.
Oh,
bouncing crits. Guess what? Guess who has no armor? It's Smeb.
Oh, this Bengi. Oh, never mind. Okay, Bengi does.
Bengi. Well, he's building.
Oh, I can see. He had the ward here in the. That's why he peeled off the chase. Okay.
Hydra right now, but nope, not Bengi. You know, just going for slows with the Randuin's Omen. Then has the attack speed reduction. So,
who would have guessed that being a team player?
Funny.
Yeah, he is still another blue buff for Faker, and they will be able to that damage. He does 1100 on the absolutely absurd. And look at this, SKT are just going to pressuring in for this inhibitor. Has the TP. Maybe I'm just going to find a pick onto Gorilla, and they do. They'll knock up Kuro. Meanwhile, Bengi goes in, pops up. Has the Ignite ticking, and Faker is going to go down as well as Bengi. Trying to get out of there, but Bengi and Duke are chasing. And he actually will be allowed to walk where they send him back to the base and they tell him ever mess with SKTelecom again.
His friend, he's got no one to tell. He's going to go tell the shopkeeper.
He's position crying.
Well, he's going to be about whether or not SKTelecom has, whether they could get these good kiting and right there. We see again they turn fake that fight, and there's no way that you can just walk Wayne. So there's uses jump to get back over, just focus down instantaneously, so the healing is reduced, and bang, and from Faker's Flash Frost, as we saw as this team fight drags on.
Oh, did he get that right? No, he did not. So Peanut, so a buff picked back up many of them.
I don't know why Smeb is you need his Zonias. I think you have to have
deal damage while the Hemo Plague is there.
Yeah, it's just not happening, and frustrating to watch is because I feel like Smeb deal on this Swain, or he hasn't damages coming from his opponents, and you have a Sivir on the board who with an Infinity Edge into that Mortal Reminder, and Gold lead right now, 13,000. It's pretty much over. There's no way the ROX can.
And just to add to it, Faker has that Morello reducing everybody's healing. Comes in. It's basically a good game here for the.
Not going to be doing anything to Duke anymore. He's 3 levels.
The Swain was an answer to the Echo in the top lane. And sure, Faker has played it in mid. Pretty much more likely going to be. He'll pick the Swain, and Smeb's just not been able to do. Just jumping onto the face of his
draft here for taking that Anivia after seeing an intelligent counter pick. Not only for if you start to get ahead with this Anivia, there is nothing.
Oh,
goodbye.
Yep. Well, everybody's just choosing that double Mountain Drake yet again, plus the Infernal goes in really deep, and he's not going to make it out of this. And the last tick. Oh, he's got the Zonias, but that'll be mine. He uses the Hemo Flag.
Kuro keeping up with his single. A great Vladimir game from Kuro at all.
Looking like maybe hashtag wake up. Sure.
Yeah, we'll see. That would definitely open up.
Double bubble goes in onto Gorilla, and Smeb taking a bit of damage. Pretty low on mana as frontline, taking up all this damage, allowing those hits there from the Sivir. That's going to be the ace, and this should. Are they going to back off?
No, Bengi is just going to.
Okay.
Duke STP.
The game, yep. I was like, come on. Yeah, 34 minutes. SK non-factor 4 times as many kills.
So, 17,000 gold. Pretty good game there from SKTelecom.
No, the 17k deficit.
Well, in any event, what SKTelecom did is look at Bang's damage to chance. But what I loved about this game was they took the Echo, the better early item using lane, which was the bottom lane, which allowed Drakes, and then to run away with some of the coming in for SKT was weather or breaks and get to the Baron Pit first. The abilities that they have to cut off choke, parallel convergence. You're just on champions that don't have any dash abilities, and we've seen a proto belt that game to at least get.
There's another thing that we didn't really touch on. We've up for these Vladimirs as they've come back in, and
it wasn't easy because he was so hard. Spirit Visage, because you're playing in. And you get a Zhonya's Hourglass so you can actually live and some cooldowns off. And then at the end of the game, it's like, well,
yeah.
So I would say there wasn't really a chance.
We'll see how they're going to bounce back as we come back for Game 0. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few. Welcome back. Your MVP from Game 1 is Bengi. Good performance on the ROX side as we 18 participation there. So pretty good. Taking the rest of the team and just enabled for kind of smear ROX all over the
Under Peanut's nose. Up to that was just more punishment for AoE champions onto Faker. Helping catch Gorilla and Prey out. Missed earlier on in the game as to why Prey. And there we go. Gorilla hops back over the with some auto attacks to help finish off. Getting Bang right next to him is not to him. Also,
just sitting in the front line, he's just always taking original stats with the lock of the Iron Solari, out his team on all fronts. The Sightstone as well. Basically, come to expect from him continuously. Mix it up and go for that more aggressive build with a Titan. Really good job netting himself some MVP points.
Different about tonight's game as opposed to that he really showed a lot better pathing to see of that game is not only because of the off right there, which snowball top lane, which snowball bottom lane of events that happened after that, making, but it was also his control over and giving that to Faker, which is one of the most.
Yeah, I don't know how many they got, but I think that their game and then even the red buff was being contested over really aggressively, which is good to see. Like you said, Allman kind of pathing around a little.
That was
steering all over and just careening.
Don't let friends drinking
League of Legends. It never ends up well. You're just going to lose your elbow. Just avoid doing that at all costs if possible.
Of relatively low dignity to start off with.
You got me there. I don't know what.
Just the key is insult the fans. That's the key.
I insult the NA fans. I like the LCK fans. And if you're an LCK and NA, if you don't like Korea and you just like NA, then it's like, okay. Now at this point, no, but we love them.
Yeah, but in any case,
yes.
And this is a surprise. Yeah, still has Bengi as we some Faker Azir highlights.
Fun.
I didn't expect this, but there was a turnaround kill there on to Fly that was so impressive.
He just fly continuously in this game.
And Azir is selecting it because it was banned in the last one. He doesn't need the turret.
Yeah. One game too, like this highlight reel is from
his games against KT were absolutely disgusting, especially it looks like he's caught, but instead he's just going to Zonia, flash right out of this one while his team gives him the shield and flashes right back. Oh my, this is just so gross to watch. Hashtag things Faker does. That was this year.
Yeah.
And that just shows.
So it was like a good thing from ROX Tigers because it was like other teams have been screwing this up, but then they're going to put Cry on the red side.
That's the big. You'd think that would be reversed, right? You'd first pick Azir on blue side. He's done it before. He will. If that's going to be SKT's game, you have to start banning out some of Bengi's jungler because Cry is coming in. I do think Kuro seems to play poorly against Faker for what that he has because he can be amazing. He's against SKT. We see some of these games. It was a bad matchup for him, admittedly, but it transitions into these wild plaguing Faker in the back line. It's just wacky.
I think Faker with Kuro at this point. Like he just every time he just hears that word uttered. Of course, it will be Cry coming in, so in the most flashy. It hasn't been.
He had got some nice kills in the mid lane. So I was impressed by his last game in particular in the Varus. So he has had what else he has to offer, but
they have to.
Well, they have to, and then again, so you're here. Do you ban it again, or do you ban? Try and give him the ROX side and take this and placate them back and take the Azir for to be their plan.
Even then, though, it's so worried. The best Azir. Like we could just basically best Azir right now. So he also against it. So that's my concern. If you like Faker will just go, okay, well then I'll just play Zin.
I don't know what he's going to do. He doesn't have the counter.
Eyes and Azir banned out by Tigers so far. Bans from the side of SKT, so they are tightening the noose on
me that the Tigers banned Rise on blue side. Just, I think, not banned alongside the Maokai, which means Echo will SKT, but take ROX side. Vlad and ROX side. So now in spring, his top three champions, Sai and Graves. Now his Graves in his ROX side, or at least it was when we. So it's been a while. He's never been a great player when it comes to sites and junglers, especially compared to somebody like Peanut.
He's improved on it, any. I you know, keep my fingers crossed for the new every now and then. I know it'd always be nice to see a non-good James CC with the ball. Okay.
They decided that the problem was Kuro's was sort of objectively bad against is still available.
Yeah.
Siverdivia again.
Might just have the just the junglers.
Oh,
God. What a wonderful world.
I think this is going to work. Same problem that we had in the last game. Okay, well they could have taken Lucian last game though. So the Ashe and the Lucian, but the Ashe they had engage. Now no team.
They're just gonna call the hell.
This game is going to be won by whoever gets the ability we live it now.
No, first strike is gonna be Cloud.
What is going on? They're really committed to this composition, but it's not going to work as long as you.
I
don't know either. It's form of engage is still like a Nivea will be blocked by Gorilla. So on the side of the ROX Tigers, like they have Flash Brawl. That's it. That's all they've got. That is the sum decided as to who gets to kite Baron first. That's like how positioning around objectives.
We are getting this one, Monty.
This draft is so weird. So weird from ROX.
Oh,
I don't
God.
know. I don't know.
What are you doing, ROX? You've tilted him now.
I'm broken. I can't do anything on this ROX.
All right. Well, I will be bringing you guys this. Hooray. Very confusing. All right. Well, it's not infernal, so living up to who can get that Drake control first.
I'm just so.
I know.
You have last pick also. And save your Swain for last pick, so at least Samir or threaten to flex it. Play it. So, what is the deal? Really pick Vlad and Swain. Were you know that Swain is going to be taken away from you?
Yes.
The answer is no. This draft is just terrible. Isn't bad. It's bad to take the things that are good against it. So,
well, we might just have this game coming out here. I mean, obviously the only two are going to be the jungles swapping. You can get an early lead. We just see that pick not even matter.
Too. And what happened was they overextended.
He had a really significant CS lead early on.
Yeah. One of those situations where the draft changed losing lane into a winning one, so at least you have pressure. Although I will say that the Rex side is better and maybe dive the turret, so that's not still really, like I said, I suppose now with the Lucian, once and you have this Rek'Sai, you can dive turret onto Wolf and Bang, but with the Ashe ultimate and the Graves damage, that's truly significant of a
on the jungle camp, so Trucks to pray and then before their supports. Got ahead a little bit earlier, but you can see the Bang is already starting on the side. He's falling behind. Interested to see where Prey's going to go with his build, though. He's going to go. Some AD carries do that a bit more with.
You definitely shouldn't do that. If he does do that, game damage has to come from Vlad and Swain. Which also makes me. They had the Graves, which is diversity. So, like you're saying, if Lucian does, it's going to be as strong in the late game, and now they don't even have a Graves to balance. Just building magic resist like this, and I Dash made sense. At least you had engage, diversity. You didn't really need a late game Vlad and Swain in theory.
Well, Smeb's already going back. Bengi takes it for himself with his own smite. One there, and he's going to lose out on that, and just has to.
Well, I'm just can't take with this. Can't deal with it. I just tilt.
You sound.
I definitely
You need all of the.
No. I need that here with those things. I need to leave enjoyment by watching this ridiculous.
Fair enough. You can go to the.
Well, at least this is Faker. So look, perhaps this matchup.
Yeah, he already went this ring, so not going to be the tier. Does decide to still.
Yeah, and I also knew Vlad versus new now, so I not seen those games.
Yeah, I heard Froggen played it.
Yeah, exactly.
Other than Froggen, so still getting engaged on the bottom side. Gets a good collapse down on him. So
yeah, once we see the first recall there in terms of Faker's
happen in the last game, he did go back was at a little bit of a disadvantage as far as, but delaying the or the Anivia getting tier is going to be interesting. A really early full stack rock. So seeing this could adversely affect Bang. Going to have to flash away. Nice block there by Wolf. The flash of his own, but Peanuts here. Bangy arriving just a little. Exhaust coming out on the Prey, who's now just way too far. One away from Bang, so there's a little bit question around the collateral damage. Not going to be enough to finish off the race.
SKT was already able to get into the enemy jungle. The reason why proxy farming in the bottom side, really deep ward.
He's in the brush. Go get him.
In quite early here. Again, playing around that. This time he Smite upgrade.
There's going to be a Smite back there, and it will be Bangy winning it again.
So not going to be too useful to start catching up. But now that he's level 6, he's going to be able to create. So we'll take a look at this again. I mean, just an all-in. Then they attempt to proc. They do get the concussive blow, get Wolf out of it, and then Bengi here. He knows the ward. Now remember, that's where he was seen, and so because his duo lane was pushed so that he knew that there was probably.
They didn't get a single kill on even Wolf there. Really looked like that was in their advantage. Do it. Bray just kind of isolated himself, you know, north of the lane rather than back.
Have a whole lot of options though with Bengi there. So in case.
Well, more than flash away.
Yeah, that's true.
He's got a good amount of sustain, but I don't know if there it is, the collateral damage and a flash forward. Solo out cry, and
I'm pretty sure it is Achilles. I'm pretty sure it's going to translate into probably. I don't think there's going to be coming back from that point with it for basically the second game in a row. Go stop does get hit by the flash frost right after the quote unquote.
He just lands and jumps.
Cry. I don't know whether he had his W able to move after the stun. He did have his flash. That you cut it.
Yep.
But my question you up because the would have allowed him to get out of there, but it has a really long cooldown. Have been down before that replay even started.
Yeah, as well. So he might have died in the pool
too. So it's kind of like,
well, who really knows? Either way, Cry and SKTelecom are looking. So
at a live SKTelecom. Well, they've been absolutely came back from MSI. At least I was in based on their limited active in Korea for an extended period. Mid-season mage patch. I expected them to second round robin, but well, the world we live in.
At least one of the top 2 teams that have
2, and they're number 1. So
yeah, it's the biggest loser of all.
We refer to them as first place loser.
Even RNG top of their group in China, so only first.
SKT going to take the turret on the bottom and side.
You know, putting 3 people up at that top side and that wave down into the tier 2 and maybe get.
I mean, this is basically hopeless for ROX. I said it will be a Cloud Drake next, but it's going to be really whoever has a way to win. And now that SKTelecom quite comfortably and does have that Infernal Drake control over the river anytime soon.
I have. It's in my contract. No.
Contract.
Yeah. You must call me Lord Monty. One out of there. I'll agree to. It's not gonna happen.
They won't be as strong-willed as you.
Them to your will.
All right. Well, Smed is here
as well, but he pops on the hunt. As Duke's arriving, actually. Parallel convergence coming down. You get a bit of damage as that Prey arriving, throwing out the culling will chip down Bengi.
Why would you flash to apply concussive? She has spell shield. She will spell shield before the. He is clearly. He's an angry girl for that. This is the problem. ROX has no engage. Here's a Swain in a brush. Oh wait, I'm trying. I guess that was not successful. Your form of engage.
Teleport comes in. Peanut will get the knock up on the Bang. But flash carry or follow up there by Bray. You execute on something.
Yeah, but and a teleport. And they can't take an objective, so actually.
Yep, this book push is still coming in there.
Now you're going to lose several damage down onto your turret because you made a play in a wall. The draft was.
No one else is dumb. I just really anything's going to happen right here. Duke's going to get a little damage on this. About this troll on Twitch made thousands of dollars to people. Days later, he would ask like to undo the charge. So this kid apparently comes $50,000 in donation. your money back.
That is so great.
They're like, you're European, so all of the streamers get to keep the $1,000 worth of donations, and this kid has.
Well, justice has been served.
Kid is about as stupid.
Hey, the ROX Telecom $50,000. They gave them one game.
Them to get into the #1 spot, which will give them. They're able to win.
That's true, but they will not. Yeah. How I feel about this draft is, I think in a different circumstance it could be successful. Great answer from SKT. So it's twice, or shoot, fool me one time. It's already been. Shame on me, and that's what the ROX Tigers should be feeling right now. Again,
yeah,
exactly the same thing. One different player, and
yeah. I mean, I don't know. Repeat draft mistakes, you know.
A team that we level that again very often.
Yeah.
Right, so.
Well, about as fortunate as it can be. Things.
All right. Well, that answers our question. Asking about the existence of that item in the game. It's been a boon, but at the same time, very useful against the Sinivia. Quite clear path either, but he not had the same problems that Kuro had in the lane. They up early and is now even, so he does have and we'll be going to Spirit Visage next.
Yeah. For him to make any actual plays happen.
Engage Vlad.
Yeah, I mean, as we saw from last, anybody that went in just pretty much died. It's going to give a fireworks entrance to
that way.
Well, I'll make sure that arrange that at your funeral. We'll have in Pennsylvania where they can legally sell fireworks. We'll just line your coffin up with these things.
Love
it. Really be
burial ship so that it lights on fire.
End up cremated by the end of it because there'd be so many days.
Anyway,
all right. We'll send you or something. All the Koreans.
All right, well, we do have SKT.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty much going to be the end of the story. Scuttle Crab.
All right. Ocean have to do so much work with this protocol.
Yep. Oh. No winch. Oh. You're not taking. This doesn't give a damn. Pretty much. It's got to be. I wonder how that he had to worry about last split and about almost anybody other than maybe Samsung.
Looking like they're going to be with how well they've been playing and doing well. They've been playing around their win conditions well. Kind of setting up this Anivia, even picking it available and then thoroughly understand.
Well, coming.
We'll see. A lot of patches left.
Oh yeah, everything is going to happen a couple months from now because I mean the season doesn't end.
Yep.
Which a bit earlier than last year, so.
Let's see here, SKT now going for this Rift Herald.
Peanut's not really there to smite it. Peanut's just getting taken care of by Duke on the back. He'll go down. Peanut's able to finish him off in time, and actually looks like he might get taken out. No, he's actually able to zip. Now Figure taking a hell of a lot of damage, has to flash away. Now in that egg form, they kind of just have to zip you out, so that's going to be...
That was so... Didn't even have everybody there or a good... Stuck around because they wanted Duke to stand. They get it, but the cost is there as they do trade, 3 for 1. More in this game than they were really unnecessarily committing to that. It's already at the buff, so Smeb is able just to get 3 onto 3 people and close that gap on the objective, but Faker was slow to the top lane river, and then they're able to stay by the area of effect damage from ROX.
Odd decision making to go pretty much. Yeah, so now it's just
unnecessary.
Just 1,000 gold separating them at this point now. Necessarily out of this one. Still need to make more things. Drakes rather onto the side. God damn that.
All of the
Drakens. All right, there we go.
It does show that if ROX can the Drake or the Baron pick, the nature of their team composition, if they are able to close AT's errors and Faker not being there, and with the Glacial Storm, then they are going to. Hopefully that won't actually happen again.
It's going to be the Void Rush coming in here from Peanut. It's taking a hell of a lot of damage from falling thrown out there by from pushing in any further.
They have to go collect the bottom wave at some. Smeb having to recall out into that lane. Duke with that Sheen. The cannon minion.
Pretty easy take there. Just going to elongate that a little bit more, especially once that mid. See that, the turrets, the rest of the turrets here from. It's going to take a lot more work from Rock. That objective count on the scoreboard.
Nope. Frag to go in on the.
Well, there he's getting collapsed onto the backside.
Yeah.
But here comes Wolf and Bengi. Can he land the bubble immediately?
He should not have. on his way out with that ghost and the pro. Sudden collapse there from SKT. Some damage to the Simmer, but
a lot of questionable.
Yeah, have not been this game than last game, though. Looks like he a little bit panicked there on that TP.
I can't believe he said it was the Ocean Drake, so could give that additional have from the buff.
Yep, perfect time is going to spawn. They still have theirs available. Taking a look at this one, 2 members of SKT actually going seconds left before the Dragon. So wards are down. This is actually a good
Telecom, they're hovering up towards that Baron.
Play right here, but there are wards. They are going to send.
But actually, they're creating more time for Duke to get on that split pressure, and SKT are just keeping alive at the moment. You can see the pings coming out. ROX identified, and he should be able to get a good amount of damage.
Tier 2 also. Bang does have to use that.
Calling down here for Prey, so maybe they can do it now that massive wave clear ultimate is going 2 to about half HP.
Yeah. Going to be able to stop this split push, even though he.
Yeah.
To deal with the Echo. He's gone for a lot of utility, but Locket, and now moving towards instead of actually picking up the Hydra himself.
Making up for not being able to really build that tonight. It's long completed as well. Looks like the.
I'm a bit surprised that he went so much damage.
Yeah.
Typically see that built on Graves any longer. Would have been a substitute itemization. Have a chance to look at it just so he has some additional in DPS coming out of Swain and.
Interested to see what he does for his lifesteal item. Bursters, who's also we have a staple item
against Vlad. Telecom has transitioned this game now after they got longer, but about putting down so that they can continuously potential early Baron take. What they should be doing, as long as they can keep management under control. Duke having to walk down into that. And we'll be saving that tier 1. I think they're playing it out properly.
Game don't want to give any more ground to Rift Herald take. So I'm just going to be taking it slow and steady. Dragon's going to be quite just yet. We know it's going to be one of these.
I do like that Faker rushed.
Delaying that Seraphs.
Yeah, delays the Seraphs a little bit more even. That it's important for him to get the Grievous Wounds down if they are.
It's going to be the Zonia's coming in. Looks like guard in the inventory, so I haven't been able to see how much gold he has, but hopefully for his sake he'll be able to complete that. So far has the cloth armor, so we can guess didn't do it in the last game and it really kind of cost them. It's a little swap around on his itemization.
Yeah, going forward the Zonia's third. Trying to get this pick.
Oh, well, they find Gorilla, but it doesn't matter. Bang finishes him off. Now they should be able to finish him off as he goes over the wall, and they do. And now Prey all by himself in this mid lane. Telecom.
That's just 5 minutes of patience. Paying immediately double back onto the Baron TP. Methodical play from Telecom.
Yep, now going seconds before Peanut comes up. Getting in there in time. Pretty slim to no. Straight into the face of Bengi, trying to kill him. Before you can see Bengi has to exit Duke as well. He takes it, goes over the wall though. Can he find Prey? Have to back off, and he actually might go down here. Besides, Bengi and Wolf trying to just retreat. Looks like they're not going to get anybody. Baron does not go down.
No, it doesn't. And an attempt here by the ROX Tigers because let them into the pit again.
Yeah.
Offensive game. I think they got overly aggressive. But still, when the Vlad and Swain are up, you can't let and get you inside of the Baron pit with that. I've been a little bit more cautious right there, certainly from SK. You got Peanut and you got Gorilla when you're trying to take an objective right now to repel the rest of the members.
I mean, they even had the wall down, kind of knocking one of them in. I think it was Cry, and they should have just completely exited the Baron rather than trying to. Well, they're not going to be able to find anything.
Yeah. Baker's recall. 2.
Yeah.
Should be able to pick it.
Sold the Doran's ring. Yep, there it is.
Yeah. Well, that is really late.
Well, I mean, the tier was
game, but even for a late tier, that's late.
Yeah. And at the moment, that was OGN.
Yep. Tigers are playing this well too.
The mid-side Gorilla does still stop the tidal wave with him, able to finish him off with the collateral damage. So answer with some damage. He layered out the hemo. Going to be all but negligible here from the side of SK.
Like though, and now they can double back and take this out without the ability to engage. It's going to be a really, if you're the ROX Tigers, have vision.
Yeah. Peanut coming through from the Ocean Drake, so they just need to stay out of combat. SKT working on an HP bar. Smeb goes straight onto him, trying to take him out, but the Zonius come flash away, but he doesn't really create much distance, and he Cry coming forward, trying to get onto Bengi, and Duke back from Duke with the ultimate, and suddenly ROX and yet again, another Baron attempt thwarted.
At the same time, SKT continues to get these advantages. That time, SKT played it a lot river, waiting to cut somebody off from there, actually work their way through Smeb. Going to get more of this burst damage. Complete now, the Seraph's Embrace for Faker. So ability as he gets in the face of Swain. Also just going hard. They know Prey's damage on this build is going to the armor, and certainly much more concerned with the enemy.
They should be. I mean, Smeb though, much for him there. He was pretty much down spell. But see Faker just trying to create more pressure. Still is SKTelecom, but also this mid-tier.
SKT is doing exactly what they should be doing, right? This situation. Defend your mid lane tower. It's worked. Sure, they haven't actually gotten the Baron out of it, and they've maintained their ward over and over and over again. The only thing that's saving Tremor Sense, because otherwise they would have died a lot more.
So still good split pressure coming out from Duke, who's waves quite nicely. That bottom one, that top one up toward the tier 2, which has already taken a significant from Smeb though. Can they find a big bang? Already taking a lot of dangling pull to try to finish him off, but it's not. Pull the trigger. They're not able to find the kills, but this could.
Took no damage from all of that because much better on this Vladimir this game than we saw from most of his AoE.
Yep. See Bengi. Parallel convergence goes into the Baron pit. The wall already down. Duke's going to go forward, trying to get a lot of damage from that Swain at the same time. Prey and Gorilla as they go down. A double kill for Bang. Still able to find one kill. Meanwhile, on the other side, Cry goes into the pool, but it doesn't matter. He's going to get. It's just Smeb all on his low. This fate. He is going to go down. Gets locked up by the. Find an ace. They only lose Bang, and they're going to take the.
That fight, sacrificing himself in the back line, but and managed to take out Prey very early on. Members of SKT, they play respectfully around the A there, especially on that kill at Smeb on the end, giving not even getting anywhere close to Duke, whose job was basically just to keep him pinned and play. Finally find that fight they were looking. They let Faker get in here, which is another big problem. Parallel of the pit, and here comes the done, cutting off the members. But watch Bang on top of Prey with Duke. Not only that, but he's able to get a couple more auto attacks. So Bang right there, just doing work on tankiness, and there's enough sustained damage to off the rest of this fight. But what a great, you almost never see that where that's a good idea. 6 out of 10, that is a dumb play to make, but in that good hero.
Yeah. Just drawing the attention, outputting the damage before he went down. So rest of SKT going to be pretty thankful for some gold lead stretching in favor of tier 2 tower in the mid side. Still have that Infernal and the Baron empowered minions. They're going to go outside, just splitting off. Still has the T safe to stick down there. On the hunt gets popped. They'll get knocked up by this one. All dramatically has to pop the Glacial Storm. Bengi though, kind of in no man's actually able to find the kill. Meanwhile, Duke goes to the backside. Convergence. He's not going to get popped up by the bubble. His Bang is just trying to fire off these crits. Duke goes straight into the backside onto 3 members of parallel convergence, and then using the ultimate to keep him top side, looking for the rest of these members. Cry go ahead and sacrifice himself as long as Prey will do so, but SKTelecom are going to be.
They tried for that collapse right there, and ROX responding that the 2 ultimates basically to catch Smeb, and all they got active. So that was actually a pretty good fight for ROX to take with a 10,000 deficit with the Baron buff that SKT has. Well, really just the.
And then from these guys, now the Elder Drake has to try to fight over that one, because if SKT gets.
Well, no,
I mean, they're already.
Really am sad now that we don't get anything that isn't Sivir and Nivea, because playing this game, which is a lot better in the team, you do get to see a lot of the power or what it could have been. But I think taking it with even less, and then the fact that it's easier to itemize for SKT at the same time makes this much as I like the team comp that they had in game number 1. And times when I consider that they allowed us.
Duly noted, always build the difference.
It is. Well, it's also Cry in
Yeah.
the back line. That's another fight that looked really good for ROX when they lane in game number 1. It was entirely Bunker.
Yeah. You can see this is SKTelecom. ROX going to have to try to get a fight here. Will find 2 members. Peanut and Gorilla will go ahead and delete that one. Duke takes a high, but he's just running around the back. You can see Tigers are starting to pitch in on. Come forward. Looks like they're just going to back off. Just chase Duke around the map.
Buff burn.
Yeah, red buff burn coming through. That's going to be the TP coming through, as well as the Void Rush from now the Elder Dragon is there. Duke still.
It's that Duke was able to get out of that one, but HP, well, he died, and then the GA after that, but SKT
down.
Dead Man's Plate. Iceborne Echo.
Now the push comes in here. Stats will need a Fertile and Cloud Drakes. The extra damage per hit. Creatures are just melting as they continue this split. Duke's or the ultimate in a precarious spot, but the rest of the appearance. The first one already with it will fall at the minute mark.
That's pushing on forward.
For Smeb, trying to stay alive. Tidal Wave not really going to close up Gorilla, and he just sits right in. He just doesn't give a damn. That's a triple. This game is the last Nexus Tower falls. Pray. He's just going to save the fountain. There he goes. Big pop from. It's a 2-0 victory for SKTelecom. He got 3 times as many kills this time. In a half minutes on the clock, SKT.
At the same time, credit to their draft here. They won the draft in both of these games, which ROX does exactly the same thing in game number 2 happen. Let's take a look at the damage to champions here. Going nuts on people.
He did
1100.
That's pretty huge. That did 36,000, so he did more than Faker.
No, it didn't. I mean, his positioning this game was fine. They just didn't really win the game with this composition versus what SKT mad at the start of this game, because I that was closer, but
yeah,
in very similar drafts in both games, and it just prepared. And Tigers apparently didn't want to show anything else. These great Ashe pick compositions. We didn't particularly contested pick tonight because SKT doesn't play. So I would have liked to have seen more than doing right now, because we know Kuro is also as Ashe. It's been successful, and we didn't also.
Yeah, it was wide open.
Yeah,
it's really. I guess.
I guess they did.
They OE Wombo combo, and it just didn't.
It's not that every team composition. Yeah. You have to consider what the enemy's throwing at you, and fault them for doing it again in game 2. Picking Lucian. That's what makes and Swain before Faker and Bang had Nivea again. It was like, here you go. Would you like? SKTelecom's like, okay.
Yeah. This is very.
It's awful.
It's very great.
Wonderful coach when it comes to drafting off days, and this appears to be one of them. So tired of me harping on about this, but this is like.
Well, hopefully it's one that the Tigers won't. Already looked shaky. This really bounces back to ever.
Yeah, they were
looking
really. We saw that early aggression, then we saw how with the Ashe.
It seemed like we got our beloved ROX Tigers arms.
It's all right. It's all right. I guess the SKT Samsung matchup.
So SKT Tigers is going to be the match of the week, and Tigers haven't been looking so good. SKT looks really great, so it's SKT versus Samsung on Saturday. A huge one that's going to be coming out because Samsung looks strong.
Definitely stronger.
Both the literal sense and.
They also are now tied with SKT. Yet to even drop a game in their first 3 best of 3, considering how I'm intrigued by Samsung off games when they try and do this Fiora. What I said ROX should have done, which is Ashe, very heavy single target CC compositions. That's what I hope we get to see SKT fight against, because it's SKT yet, and it's not something SKT does.
It'll also be interesting to see how Ruler goes up against from that second game is going to be what's on that Echo. But the big power that came from Duke was constantly creating pressure against the Tigers, and just
really good knowledge too of when to do that attempt because of his danger, but playing around the enemy time. And as we see right here, collaborating for a kill early on, and spectacular. Was he like ambition level on Graves than we've seen him play in the past?
Yeah, now coming into this because he didn't get the Rex start because he didn't work. But Duke, of course, exchange goes on to lose the GA. He still can't finish him off. Spot the set before, so and then just walks away with the parallel convergence shield.
Yep, tied with everybody else at 200 MVP points.
MVP, the top spot. So look at the double MVP so far. Faker had shot.
Yeah. But one other thing, this SKT Samsung match to hype it up. Just in terms of deep damage per minute statistics, this series started was Faker at number 2, in that about top 8. We're going to have some really, really and 80 carry positions who have absolutely. Well, I mean, Ruler's a rookie, and damn, has he. We've seen Crown ever since he came back from. We've seen a really steady growth curve, better and better and better. But this season, it's super good.
Yeah, I mean, just collapsing when his teammates call to what the enemy's doing, and to to see that a rookie can come out swinging like that. You say BDD when he joined. It's nice to see that there's not always out and have really stellar performances. So it'll be against Bang when we see them on Saturday.
Guys, well,
that's going to be it from us. More LCK action. I believe we have for you guys, so that could be actually a pretty tight-knit game, hovering around those top 5 spots. So we'll see you guys if you're on the Pacific Coast, and 7 a.m. Monty. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Have a good one.